Hey guys, welcome to my channel Total Angrezi by Vidushi. Do subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon to never miss an update, and do give me a thumbs up if you like the video. Today we are going to do the poem The Dust of Snow written by Robert Frost. This is one of his best poems. When you read the lines, you might think that it's very simple. It does not have an in-depth meaning. But if you go into the profound details of where he's coming from and what was the message he was trying to give, you'll realize that this poem and the message that it has could have a very big impact if people apply it in their lives today, where we are going through a lot of tough times. It'll have a lot of impact. So Robert Frost, as you know, was a lover of nature. He's written a lot of poems. We've also covered another one of his poems before. You can check out an introduction of him. He was an American poet, and we've done his poem "The Road Not Taken" several times before. And this is also one of his best poems, which was a part of his collection that won a Pulitzer Prize. So it is one of his best poems. So let's quickly go through some line explanations. Now this poem, it is very symbolic. It has a lot of symbols. It has a lot of elements. Things look very simple, okay? But still they have a larger impact. And how is what this poem speaks about. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. So you see the two symbols here. We have a crow and we have an hemlock tree. What are these two things? In olden times, they would consider the crow as something as a bad symbol. If people would see a crow sitting outside their house or crowing on top of their roofs, they would think that something bad is going to happen. It would be like an omen. Something bad is going to happen. A hemlock tree, on the other hand, is also a very poisonous tree. It grows white flowers, and people stay away from this tree because it has poison in it. So these two things, what do? Together they create an impact that they shake off some of the snow that is on the tree. The crow shakes off some of the snow that is on tree, and the snow is so well collected that it looks like a pack of dust falling on the poet. So you can see that the poet is walking alone on a lonely road, and he stands underneath a hemlock tree, which is when this incident takes place. Now, you might think that what could this have an impact on the poet? Why is he even writing about such a thing? He continues to say, has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had rued. So what is he trying to say? Now he's explaining that before this incident happened, he was not in a very good mood. He was not in one of his best moods. But after this act of nature, by two things that people don't consider good, which is the hemlock tree and the crow, there was something that happened and it changed his mood. It changed his heart completely. In the last two lines, you can see, and save some part of a day I had ruled. The poet goes on to say that it is because of this act between the crow and the hemlock tree, the two bad things in people's lives, he saved the rest of his day that he had probably already made bad. He thought that the day was a bad one, but this act between these two symbols has made his day into a good one. He started regretting that he had already wasted so many hours in the day, but a change of heart, it makes him happy because sometimes there is an act of nature or something else that happens that usually brings a smile to our faces and it changes our moods. So this is what happened with the poet also. The falling of the snow puts Frost in a very cheery mood and it makes him guilty for having wasted his day so far. And now he says that now he's going to be able to save it because the crow shaking the dust of snow from the hemlock tree on his head has changed his mood from a very sad and depressed one into a very cheerful and happy one. Now you might think, that what would this do? Why would this be even important? It's important because in our lives these days, a lot of things go bad. So maybe if you're a student listening to me right now, you've had a bad day at school. Probably somebody told you something, maybe you scored less marks. But on the way home, you see like a bunch of puppies playing with each other and brings a smile on your face. What Frost is trying to say here is that a lot of things happen that makes our mood bad, We become depressed, we become sad, and we think that nothing good can come of that day. But then there is something small that happens which can change the entire big day into a good one. Now, that opportunity is in your hands. Here also, what Frost could have done, he could have gotten angry at the bird. He could have cursed the bird. He could have cursed this tree that already nobody likes you. And now, because of you, the snow has fallen on my head. I'm already having a very bad day, and now you've ruined it all the more for me. No. What did he do? He chose the positive approach. He allowed nature to change his mood. It happens. You're not having a good day. You've met with a lot of traffic on the way. And then when you finally reach the mountain top and you see the beautiful view, it changes your mood. It makes it all worth it. And then you decide that now, even if there's traffic on the way back down, you're not going to let it affect your day because you've already ruined half of your day. But it turned out to be something beautiful after that. So big things also could have a change because of something small, only if you give it the opportunity. Now, feel free to use these lines from whatever I have explained now to form answers, and be rest assured that it's going to help you answer whatever kind of question that comes your way. So, like I said, it's a very short poem. The poet is walking on a very empty road, and it's a snowy day, it's a wintry day, and he stands under a hemlock tree. A hemlock tree is considered poisonous. It has white flowers, and just then a crow drops a dust of snow on his head. The poet, who was having a very bad mood until then, he was very depressed, he was very sorrowful, he chose the positive approach, and it made him very happy that nature was trying to cheer him up. And those things which people consider bad or ominous, those were the things who changed his mood. So sometimes it is better to see the positive side of things rather than seeing things negatively. Before we go ahead to the question and answers, where we'll discuss some important questions, I'd request you to hit the subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get an update whenever we upload a new video. And you could also follow us on our Twitter and Facebook handles. So here are some extra questions. What is the message of this poem? Very clearly, like we just discussed right now. Sometimes even the biggest of the things could be changed by the smallest of acts. It can change one's mood only if you decide to take a more positive approach towards it. And if you do that, it'll shake off the depressing mood. Just like the crow shook off some of the dust of snow from the hemlock tree and dropped it on the poet, you could also shake off some of that depression, some of that sadness, and feel good about that day rather than taking a negative approach and cursing the actions of that day even more. So the message is, allow even the small things in your life to make greater impacts. What is the mood of this poem? Now, when the poem begins, it is you come to know that it's very sad, it's very depressing. We come to know as we go ahead that his choice of symbols in this poem, like the hemlock tree, the crow, it shows that he's in a negative mood, which is why he's using all of these negative symbols that people don't like. But a little act by the crow with the help of the hemlock tree changes his mood entirely. So you can see that in his choice of words in the poem try to create a setup that it is a very depressive and a sad day, but then it also shows how it changes his mood by the end of the poem. So there are two modes in this poem that you could speak about. One that comes in the first paragraph, where with the choice of his symbols and with the choice of his words, we come to know that he is looking at things very negatively. But then in the second part, he chooses a positive approach and changes his mood into a good one. The third question, it gets answered in the second question, so you can very well answer that. Describe the setting of the poem. Now, there are multiple settings in the poem, and all of these symbols have some or the other connection. Like you can take snow to represent depression, you can take the hemlock tree to represent something negative, something sad. The crow is something ominous because people consider it a bad omen. And then you see that the poet was already sad. So there are 3-4 emotions or symbols or elements playing in the poem. But when all of these things come together to make one small act, it changes everything, and it changes the poet's heart. It makes him cheerful, and that is exactly the setting of the poem. The physical setting of the poem is very clear, that it is a snowy wintry day and the poet is walking on a street where there are a lot of hemlock trees and a bird. What is the importance of the poem in our present life? Now, this is something that you should be able to answer on your own from the explanation that I just gave to you. In today's day, every alternate person is having a bad day most times of the week. Some people have bad days at work, some people are having bad days at school, some people are having bad days while studying, or maybe at home, family issues, a lot of things. Now, you can all either sulk about it, feel sad about it, or feel depressed about it, or maybe just stand in your balcony, see the little kids play, let it bring a smile to your face, or let the wind that's blowing bring a smile to your face, or like I said, the dogs outside, the flowers, the garden, anything. Allow it to change your mood so that when you get back inside, you feel fresh and you're able to apply a more positive approach. So this is my take on the importance in the present day. You could choose your answer. Discuss how the crow and the hemlock tree, being ominous symbol, change into a boon. Very clearly, I've already explained to you how they are ominous symbols. Uh, the poet is trying to create a perfect blend between negativity and positivity in these poems. So this is a point you can use somewhere in your line explanations. The crow, like I said, is an omen. The hemlock tree is poisonous. People don't like to go around these things. People don't want the crows around their houses. But yet, the poet who was having a bad day began to have a good day, a better mood, a cheerful mood because of these negative things. So these things that they consider ominous, they have turned into a boon for the poet. So you can go on to explain with examples from the poem as to how exactly the entire setup was, and you'll get a perfect answer to how these two things that were ominous became a boon to him. That's all for today. We'll see you in the next poem.